door and we locked the inside door, and it still happened a few times after that.
Okay, we put one more on the top. Whoa. I don't know how. I don't know. Let him come on.
Wow.
He's doing that. It's the second time. Get that. It's the second time.
What button?
No, there's nobody there. There's nobody there.
And we locked the door.
No, there's nobody there. No, Jenna.
Oh, there it goes. I just heard it.
It's outside. It's outside.
No.
No, that's outside.
Outside.
Don't do that. What happened?
There's something over there. Where? Whoa!
Hello everyone, this is Ghost XP. I'm your co-host Kong.
And I'm Pensu.
And today we have a really special guest. Her name is Kalina. Welcome, Kalina.
Hello, everyone.
And Kalina, the reason why you're on is because you and your family, not recently, but you guys had in the past several years, you guys went on a trip in the Catalina Islands, experienced some creepy things at an Airbnb, and that was all caught on video. It kind of went viral on Facebook, right?
Yes, it did. And we did.
Sounds good. I guess let's just jump straight into it, right? Tell us about the start of your trip. Like, what was the purpose of that trip, and how did things slowly come up? How did you guys slowly just experience that? The event.
So to start, it was going to be a all sibling and our spouse trip, and so there's 5 of us sisters, and there's 3 brothers. However, 2 sisters are out of state, so only 3 sisters and 3 brothers with our spouse. So we started planning because everyone's busy with their daily lives, and even though we're all in the same town, we don't see each other much. So I think it was during Thanksgiving, maybe I want to say 2-3 years ago. After we all ate, we sat down and we're like, hey, it's been a minute. And besides all of these holidays, like maybe we should make it once a year that we take siblings and our spouse trips. It could be anywhere. So my the youngest brother, although he's older than us sisters, but the youngest of the brothers, he goes, well, maybe we should go to Catalina Island. He brought that up. And so we're like, okay, well, since you brought it up and most of us have never been there, why don't you guys look into it and plan it and we'll go. So that was how it started. And then, it really happened. And we went sometime in April. So we talked about it in November, and then somewhere between April, we went. So when we went, it was all of us with our spouse, like I said, and then at the time, my son, I have a little boy who is, I think 5, and then my older sister has a little girl who is also 5. So because they're little and right? Mm-hmm. So it was all of us adults with our 2 little ones. So if you have ever been to Catalina Island, obviously it's an island, so you take a ferry from Long Beach. So we caught a ferry, and when we got to the island, it's a beautiful island. It is very small, but it is very old, and all the buildings and everything. So it's an old island, and there's a lot of history behind Catalina Island. So we get over there, and we rented a Airbnb house, and that house was really, really from the pictures, looking at the pictures, it was you can tell it's a lot older, but it looks really light and airy from the photos. So we get there, and that house is the only house facing the street. All of the other houses, they're kind of like facing each other inward. We're thinking, okay, well, that is also the cheapest house. So we caught a great deal. It has, I believe, 5 bedrooms and like 2 or 3 bathrooms. So we caught a really good deal. And so we booked that place for 4 days and 3 nights. So when we got to the island, it was still daylight, and we get there. We're walking to, after we were dropped off at the ferry, we started walking towards our Airbnb, because on the island, if you don't rent one of those golf cart, you're basically just walking everywhere, because there's no cars or anything on the island. So we started walking towards our Airbnb, which was maybe about a 15-minute walk. And when we got there, the first thing I noticed is there's a living room. There's a living room, and then to the right of you is the kitchen. And then towards the back of the living room is a small little corridor, and then another room which they made it into an office. And then through the office is a staircase that goes upstairs to the second floor. So as soon as I walked in, I put all of my stuff down. Everybody put their stuff down, and they're like making their way through the house and stuff. And I kind of just put my suitcase down, and the very first thing I noticed was it's not light and airy like the photos that we saw online when we booked. So green kind of very dark. You saw it and you feel little tiana, right?
So it was already giving off. You can already feel the bad aura.
Yeah, all the bad aura, the bad vibe, the creepy vibe. you know, because that house, it doesn't feel like an Airbnb. It doesn't look like an Airbnb. They still have old photos of all of their family on the walls. Oh, wow. So to me, it didn't feel like an Airbnb at all. So I walked in, and the first thing I noticed is and I had those feelings. And you know, they say that green kind of more cunning a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I had that feeling. So I put my suitcase down, and then my family, they're kind of just all over the place. My brothers and my nyas and them, they're all over the place. They're just kind of looking at the houses and the kitchen and stuff. And so I'm talking to my siblings, and then through the corner of my eye at the corridor, like a silhouette of a person standing over there. So, and this is like as soon as I walked in, maybe 5 minutes into
I was gonna ask you that, like right away you already kind of saw something?
Yes.
Wow.
So right away I already 5 minutes into me walking inside the house. So I saw a silhouette of a person standing by the door, like kind of the corner of the door, and right? So I quickly turned over, and there was nothing there. So I kind of questioned myself, and I was like, you know what? Did I really see something, or was it just my eyes playing tricks on me? Because then again, it was just through the corner of my eyes, right? So I was like, no, don't you watch, you know? So I continued talking to my siblings, and you go upstairs. There's, let me see if I can remember correctly. There's 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there are 5 bedrooms. There's 4 upstairs, and there's 1 downstairs. So, downstairs, we brought my oldest sister and my zilo, which they are a lot older. And so they had okay, downstairs. Upstairs in case right? And like I said, it's an old house, so it's very, very steep. And the banister, so the banister was like wobbly too. So bedroom. So my husband and I were like, okay, we're gonna sleep in this room, and then everyone luggage and suitcase home and stuff. But then we realized that okay, draw a number. So we decided to draw a number, and there was a specific room that is the biggest of all the rooms, but it is also the creepiest, because inside that room there were, I think, 5 or 6 twin beds. So to me, when I walked in, I knew right away I didn't want that room, even though it has a lot more beds that will fit my husband and I and our son. But I didn't want that room because to me it felt like an old hospital, or like those orphanage bedrooms or something things you see on movies and stuff, and I didn't want that room. But to be fair, we're like, okay, we're all gonna draw, and so we would go downstairs and we started to draw numbers, and ironically, all the couples, they all got the rooms with not the creepy room, right? And my sister and I and our husband and our two, we got the room with all the little twin beds. So we're like, okay. So we're like, what, weird, but it happened the way it did. So okay, cool. To be fair, because we all drew numbers. So then my sister and her husband, but my husband and I, we never brought our suitcase up there. So we came back downstairs, and then we started talking about, okay, we're going to be here for a few days. Food, stuff like that. And so we started talking about that. And then while the older sibling, because I'm the baby of the family, so while they were discussing about that, I started walking around the house and kind of so the house, through the kitchen, there's a back door that you go out to the back patio, and they have like a cute little patio set up out there with a barbecue grill and everything, and there's a shed in the back. But none of us ever made it back out there because we were just talking about what we're going to buy, who's going to make what, and we're going to go to the store and stuff like that. And so nobody went out there. The door was locked the whole time. I just peeked through the window. And then in the kitchen, there is a bathroom that has a door that goes through the living room and then through the kitchen. So it's like a Jack and Jill door. So mo iluhona in the living room, so in the downstairs, but there's the door that goes through that you can enter through the living room, and you can enter through the kitchen. But we locked the kitchen side because we didn't want to be using the restroom and somebody come through the kitchen and open, right? So we kept the kitchen side of the door locked, and we only left one unlocked. So that was that. And so we went to the store. We walked to the store. The closest store was, I almost want to say it was either Vaughn's or Safe Mart or something like that, right behind our Airbnb, which is like a 5-minute walk. And so we left our two little one with my older sister and my brother-in-law. So they stayed with our two little one, and the rest of us, we walked over to the store to get what we needed for the 4 days that we were going to be there. So as we went, but my sister, when we came back, she told us that and she was having those eerie feelings too. Upstairs, even though upstairs just to go check out the house. So and then check out her and my brother-in-law's room, and closet all of the old clothes, whole closet. They low a wheelchair, so all of the old belongings are still in the closet. And she said that old mildew and topuna, right?
That's so creepy.
Yeah, so nitu hiding though, but she didn't tell us until much later. So we came home and we're putting away our groceries and everything, and then we're Hmong people, we drink, right? We like to drink, and we're on vacation, so we started drinking, and we started karaokeing. They have a karaoke in their in the Airbnb, so we started karaokeing, and my nyan and them are karaokeing and drinking. This is like after dinner lot. So after dinner, but then on dinner, I want to say maybe about 8 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock. During dinner, some of my nyas, they started karaokeing, and then I told my husband, I was like, hey, all the luggage, and then he goes, okay. So we started bringing our luggage upstairs, and then upstairs, we didn't hear the knock, the very first knock. But my nyam them, they were all downstairs karaokeing, and the first knock that they heard was from the front door. So really quick. So then the brother there's a neighbor law call or something like to prank us and stuff because we're karaoke and we are kind of loud. However, when we walked to the grocery store, we went through the back. So they walked through the back. Like I said, they're all facing inward to each other, like the alleyway, right? So and I'm assuming they are all Airbnb because they're all dark. And so yeah, so then we're thinking, my brothers and them are thinking, teenagers low or people low prank based on. But then when my husband and I came down, and I was sitting on the couch talking to one of my nya, we're just talking, and the second time, boom, 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 at the door again. So my brother, he's like, shit, this is the second time. And when they ran outside, there was absolutely nobody. By 8 o'clock, so there's nobody, there's no like big trees or anything that anybody can run fast enough to go hide. There's only like small little bushes on the floor.
And you're saying this is like right after the knock, right? So it was like seconds.
Yes, seconds only. So, and the living room is not big, so you can get to the door real quick too from where they were standing at. So, like you guys know, there was there's 4 of them. My brothers and my husband around the doors. There's nobody. No one can run that fast. There's no cars, no golf cart, nothing was around. So then we're thinking, okay, it's still just people playing pranks. So we come back inside, and then now all of us are downstairs. We're all downstairs. We're all drinking a little bit. One of my nya is still karaokeing, and the bitch show one of my brother, the whole time he was live on his Facebook. He likes to go live a lot, so he was live. And actually, some of my nieces, my grown nieces from home, they didn't go with us, so they're home and orbs flying around, but they didn't know what it was. So then my brother had his live the whole time. So there's a shot in one of his live where we're all kind of standing around, and it didn't happen like back to back repeatedly. Right? So maybe in about like 15 to 20, 30 minutes in between. So we're all standing in the living room. My back was facing the kitchen. And my nya and my husband and my brother were all just kind of chit-chatting. And then into the door from behind me. You could feel that gust of wind. And in the front inside the little kitchen table, as if someone's running right through the kitchen table, and
Don't do that. What happened?
Something over there? Where?
Yeah, I have goosebumps right now just retelling the story. But I think that's the video that you guys sent me where because that was like I said, my back was facing the table, and I felt that gust of wind, like or person, but there's no way that they can run that fast because one, the door to the back patio was locked. Nobody went outside. And two, the bathroom to the door to the bathroom through the kitchen was locked because like I said, we didn't want people to come in while we're using the restroom. So we had locked that door. So there's no way, no how that anybody can enter through the back door and kill or and then kill. So and then Mali happened inside the house. Then happens only more frequent and and louder. Before where you're kind of second guessing yourself, and so all in the my family so even though we didn't bring anything good brother new mỗi paper napkins right just to say things like hey bé tôi cho tôi gia tôi nhận bé chỉ tôi do anything and bé cho thọ show nó bên hú stuff like that right. So Tony kind of died down for a little bit. It died down for a good almost hour that we were all hanging out still, and then we were still drinking and karaokeing and just having fun and chit chatting and everything. And then but it was just one knock. And my husband was standing right by the door. So the husband, nobody. Once again, nobody. And every single time that happened, and my brother goes, okay, I'm gonna look camera, or I'm gonna like try to record or something. It doesn't happen when he's trying to record it. It happens to look camera away, or something like that, right? You record the vậy của husband actually, and by this time it was like around there's only so then only the time okay, there's a band on told her, and we need to kind of like die down a little bit. So we came in and we calmed down a little bit, and we all were just kind of talking. Better talk the only you kind of you kind of drink. You're still drinking. You're still kind of karaoke.
You're on vacation, man.
And we're on vacation, right? We're on vacation, and we're all siblings, and then they okay, so we all miss each other, and so we're all just enjoying each other's company. And then the final thing that finally made us stop was finally look at so we're
this
all
is
just
in the
out.
kitchen too, right? If I remember from the video, yeah.
Yeah, and this is just to clarify things. Is this the first day when you guys arrived? Or?
This is the first day.
Okay,
yeah,
so-
this is the first day when we arrived, and this is around 11 o'clock at night already.
Okay.
So finally, we were still hanging out, and Becky stopped me. Look at the blinds, move as if somebody threw something inside, but there was absolutely nothing. There's nothing, no rock, no big anything that flew inside. And then the house, the way it's made is it sits on a higher level, and there's a few steps to go up to the door. So it is very high. You have to either jump or be on something to reach the window. So it's not one of those typical windows where so the window, we all went outside. There's nothing. We go inside. There's absolutely nothing. But only the window from the outside, because you can see the blinds move. So then that was when we were like, okay, we need to stop, because Janona spirit right? Because then when that happened, I started telling them, okay, the first thing I saw is and I felt this, but I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know if I really saw it, because I only saw through the corner of my eyes, and I didn't want to scare anybody because we had just arrived. So then we have a brother-in-law, and he's also a physician. He's a doctor. So he doesn't drink. Yeah, he doesn't drink. And he was in the little room that they turned into an office. So in that room, there's a couch. So the whole time while we were like out there drinking and hanging out, he was in that room laying on the couch, and he was trying to sleep, but he wasn't completely asleep because we were loud. So Niyin kind of really tired, but he wasn't fully asleep. So Niyin kind of he said that he saw somebody standing at the corridor looking out to us. So he saw exactly what I saw. So he said that, but Nichisa hide anything because he didn't want to scare us too. So then, the stories, to older sister, and stuff like that, right? So that was that. And then we're all like really scared and we were shook and we didn't want to go sleep in our rooms anymore. And so we told my husband and my two brothers to go upstairs and grab pillows and blankets and everything for us. And all of us were going to sleep in the living room together. Because mind you, it doesn't sound like it's scary now, but when you're in the house and you're going through all of that, it is very scary. So actually, the guys, they went upstairs and they went and grabbed pillows and blankets for us and some of our belongings. So my sister, the one that brought the little girl with us, she goes, oh, she told my husband, hey, when you go upstairs, can you grab my jacket or my bag on my bed? And so they went upstairs. My husband went with my two brothers and moved into my sister's room to go get the jacket for her. And then Tony Tilon, both my brothers were gone. So my husband was the only one upstairs.
That got him messed up.
Yeah, guys, but right? Because you have to so
Yeah.
my husband, my brother goes, yeah, her jacket's right there. And then my husband, my two brothers were gone. So then my husband, he had to go and grab some pillows and blanket in our room. And he went to go get his fishing pole because he was going to go fishing in Catalina Island. So he brought his fishing pole with him and he was going to save his fishing pole because that's very important to him. So so he was holding onto his fishing pole and onto the blanket and the pillows. So as he was coming down the stairs, he said right before he hit the very last step, it was as if somebody pulled his right leg, his right ankle. They held onto his right ankle because he came crashing down. So we're on the living room. Yeah, we're on the living room and all we heard was dong, 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 right? And then we're like, shit, what happened? What happened? He's like, go, 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 go. He's like, go, 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 go. And so we're like, shit, what happened? We saw him picking himself up from the floor, from the ground, and he was like holding onto his fishing pole and the blanket, and all he said was, go, 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 go. So we go running back to the living room. And we're like, what happened? And he goes, shit, something grabbed onto my leg and like I fell down head first. And so we're just like, what? You know, it's crazy. So that whole night we all of us, we slept in the living room together. Big sofa, floor, on the chairs, and you know, because we're too scared to go sleep in our own room. So we're sleeping, and then the floor, and then my older brother and my nya, they were on the love seat, right on top of my head. They were sitting there. So up, they're just up talking, and suddenly my brother kind of and he's just kind of like moaning in his sleep. So then my nya woke him up, and my nya's like, hey, Shona, like, what happened? And he's like, oh, from the kitchen, right?
Oh my god.
So, yeah, so in that house, like I said, if you go up the stairs, there are maybe 20 or 15 or 20 family photos on the walls while you go up the stairs, and it's of all their kids and the wife and the husband and stuff. And when I first walked in, in my heart, the way I feel, women, because it is the father, the old man. I'm assuming it is the father of the house, just looking at all the photos. And my brother from the kitchen, and that's when he's waving his arm and trying to fight the air and stuff like that, right? So, and that's when my sister-in-law woke him up, and they were just up all night, just chit-chatting, 被一伙也被黑就就上的 my son 你妹妹爱上的鸡熊上 yeah suddenly he woke up and Nikili straight now he was sleeping on the couch with my sister and one of my other sister-in-law he looked all confused and my sister-in-law goes baby what happened and he goes I had a very bad dream and then my sister-in-law goes what did you dream about and he said I had a very bad dream of I believe he said an old lady or like monsters or something in the house right but it was as if he wasn't fully awake he just kind of like sleepwalking but he wasn't walking he would just sat right up and so then in the in China and we did call the cops
Door and we locked the inside door, and it still happened a few times after that.
a lot of people were making fun of us like oh you guys call the cops for like
This-
spirit in the house.
Yeah, I saw that in the video. You guys called the cops. Was that right after when the window got smashed?
Yeah, we called the cops because it was by that time it was midnight and the people that we the it wasn't the owner exactly but the people that we rented the place from they're closed. We couldn't get a hold of them so we had to call the cops because one we needed to make a report because we don't know if it's people doing it or two we didn't want to be liable for that you know. Well, we called the cops for that reason. And when the cops came, they took our report down. And then one of the guy that we rented that from, my sister was able to get a hold of him. He came out and we were talking to him. And so
when he came out, it was around midnight still, right?
it was still around midnight. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was still around midnight and he came out and we told him that, hey, somebody broke the window. We don't know who. We went outside. There's absolutely nobody. It doesn't look like they threw anything in, but the window is shattered. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, you know what? Be really honest with us. Is this house haunted? And, right when he was going to say something, he realized that my brother was still live recording. So then he kind of shut down and he didn't say anything else. And so Nikki Lichi got so then the only reason why we felt like it is and he didn't want to say anything is because they also didn't charge us for the broken window. They didn't charge us for the broken window, so they kind of just let that go. And then after the cops left, that's when my husband went upstairs to get everything in law. And only somebody and then the whole night but my brother, he kept recording. He wasn't live anymore, but he was just recording here and there. And when he was recording, we didn't see this until the next day when we slow-mo the video. You can see in the kitchen. As if someone's playing peekaboo with you. But it wasn't a face. It was just something black. It was like a black figure. But it wasn't the whole body. It was like someone look the whole chicken go get. So you can see that in the kitchen. And then at the door, you can see like a silhouette of a few bodies out there. You can see that and then disappear like they vanish into through the door or into thin air or something. They just kind of vanish. So when we slow-mo the video, you can see all that. You can see orbs flying around us. And my nieces the whole time during the live, they're like, hey, I think that's an orb that just flew by you guys. Like, we see orbs around you guys, but of course they're just typing. So, we weren't checking all of that. And then, we slept in the living room all together because it was midnight. We couldn't go anywhere. There was no more of the cart rentals. So, but right behind the living room wall, there is a closet that the house owner or whatever people who rented that place out, they locked that door. So that closet remains locked. But throughout the whole entire night, cái yên nó mua lý lăng từng nhà hồi ní yên khó mà con đun all night. And it doesn't sound like, yeah, it doesn't sound like like an object making a noise. It sounds like a person call mama, call lu or call lu panja and dun. And so Gujanya and my older sisters laying long on the more, and then Nyanya with the brother Ning title Nyanya Niki walk here with his naked eye. This is like around Li Mong Blong in the morning. So he was recording Oshi, but at the same time they were still up chit chatting. From the kitchen, it kind of disappeared. So he caught like the very ending of it in his video, but they also saw with their naked eye. They saw that orb.
Wow.
So in the morning, we all decided, you know what, we're not going to stay here anymore, even though we paid to be here 4 days and 3 nights. We're not going to be here anymore because our experience enough for us to make us believe that it is haunted. So we go and we rented 2 hotels to fit all of us. And then, you know, we have all of our food and we're like, what are we going to do with our food? So we lucky enough we were able to find one hotel room with a kitchen. So then we put all of our food there, and the rest of us had a shared room with each other. But throughout the whole entire time that we were there, the remaining, I think that all of us were like kind of bumping because every little drop, every little noise, like in auto you in China.
Yeah.
So then and I thought I was the only one, but then, you know, I talked to my sisters and they're like, and my brothers, they were all like feeling the same thing. So then 4 days but so then one day, one evening, we go out to one of the bars and we're talking to one of the bartenders, and we told them of our experience at the house, and he knew exactly what we were talking about. He was like, oh, is it that yellow house up at the top of the hill? And we're like, yes. So he goes, yep, I know the history of the house, and I you guys are not the only one. So we're like, you know what, tell us. But so he won't tell us exactly.
Come on.
Yeah, but he knew exactly what house we were talking about. He was like, yeah, the only house facing the street up at the hill, the yellow house. We're like, yes. So he's like, yeah, I know that house, and you guys are not the only one. So then that was that, and then we were still on the island, and we were taking this tour around the island on the golf cart, and my son, mind you, my son, he's only 5, and he didn't even know that we experienced any of that because he was asleep most of the time, besides the one time that he woke up, and he said that. I didn't even realize that it was the house, and my son was already like, Mom, that's the monster house. So I don't know what my son experienced, and it may or, you know, but when we passed the house, and I didn't even realize it yet because we came through like the other end. So it didn't even hit me that was the house until my son was like, Mom, that's the monster house. And I looked and I was like, oh my God, that is the monster house. But yeah, so that was that. And then we came home, we went through the videos again, and basically post anything on besides my brother being live, but then one of our friends saw and he posted our video, and everything went viral and everyone wanted to know everything. And you know, they're like, oh, they're probably on something real good. And we're like, no, we were just drinking a little bit. I promise you, like, we really experienced that. And so and one of our cousin brother, and you know, for a moment there when I got home, even though my house is my favorite place in the world. But for a moment there, I was very scared to be alone. Corners of the house like and anything that you because of what we experienced at the house in Catalina. So that was kind of what happened in Catalina. Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's crazy. I want to ask a question since you were talking about coming back home. So when you guys came back home, did anyone in your family or on that trip ever experience any following, like the ghosts following them home, and then
No. Yeah, we didn't experience anything else, but everyone is interested. Actually, you have fresh and and then hopefully we all felt better. But before we came home, because like I said, just so my brother-in-law who should have got muche and stuff like that. And I forgot to say right before we left, my brother-in-law, the doctor, he went room to room to record to just as proof that we didn't mess up anything in case if anything happens and they try to blame us. So he goes room to room to record everything. Everything is still in its place. And weird, when he came out and we left, he went through his video and actually he didn't record anything. Every single time he record, it's like a walking son.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's really weird. So you could hear him say, you guys see that there's no trash in the trash bins and the beds are still made, and you can hear him talk, but and he goes, and my sister goes, Doc, you only had one job. And he's like, I swear I was recording. He was like, no, I swear I was pointing to the bed and the trash and everything. You can tell I was talking and I was showing that there's no trash in the bin. And my sister's like, Doc, you only had one job and you only recorded your feet walking. So, that was something really weird too. That being she understand Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to like technology and trying to capture it, it's always something fishy with like the camera not
Yeah.
actually recording, or it's not actually recording what you want. Yeah, I've heard like multiple stories of that where certain people caught something on video and then a week later that clip disappeared from their phone or
Yeah,
whatnot.
because like I said, my husband goes, you know what, I'm gonna stand right here, I'm gonna record and right? And then he's like recording the whole time. He's like, shit, like, well, no,
Yeah.
it is as if like because the camera they catch it, but we experienced this in the house. It is very, very real. There's not a lot of reviews on the house. There's a few good ones, but we also saw a few bad ones that are not up anymore. So I don't know if they are taking those bad reviews down.
Oh, that's true.
But
They probably are.
They probably
yeah,
are.
because there was one that we read that someone was like, hey, we came and we stayed in the house. We thought we were all alone. And then suddenly we see somebody walk out of the shed in the back. So we don't know if we are alone or, stuff like that. So, yeah, like I said, throughout the whole house, they have old pictures of their family. Their clothes are still in the closets. They have a flag with like 2 or 3 bullets. Maybe someone's in the army or something that had passed. They have that flag in the house still. They have this sign that I don't remember what my brother-in-law said. He looked it up, and I think the sign is like in Hebrew or in something that said. That said, I don't remember exactly, but something about like those who come or those who enter the home, or I don't know, something weird like that, right? It was a sign right on top of the main door, and so I don't know. It felt like the family just kind of up and left, like something happened and they up and left, and then right outside the house. They wrote on the cement. They wrote like all of their. They wrote, or they wrote the the names down. I don't know, but it was like dated back in the 1980s.
Okay, so you kind of cut off there.
So you know that.
You kind of cut off there, but essentially you said that on the cement on the ground, they wrote their names and the dates and whatnot. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it is names of all of their kids, and it is either their date of birth or like the year that they wrote their names down, but it dated back to like the 1980s, 1970s.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I guess one of my questions I want to say is, none of you guys knew about Catalina Island being haunted from the very
Right. I was gonna ask that, like, because we don't live in the West Coast. You reside in the West Coast. The Catalina Island, you said, before we start recording, was near Long Beach. So, is the Catalina Island generally known as like a vacation spot?
It is a vacation spot. It is very beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of people that you talk to, they say, you know what, we don't even know why you guys stay there. We go and we make it a day trip and we take the ferry back to Long Beach. And so our family, we don't know because none of us have ever been there besides my sister and my brother-in-law, who is a doctor. They've been there a time or two, but then they also don't stay there. They take the ferry back. And so as far as we know, it is just something that a place that people go visit and they have fun, and we don't really know the history of it. But then after this happened, all of the locals, they started telling us that, you know, this military base, or can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yep, we can hear you. You said it that the local said it's a military base. Yep.
Yeah, the local said it used to be like a military base or something with the army or military, or, you know, something along those lines back in the days. And there was a lot of like injured soldiers that would come and they would put on the island. And, you know, there's a lot of people that pass on the island. So the island, the entire island closes at, I want to say 6 o'clock, you know, don't quote me, but around that time, pretty early, 6, 7 at most. So the island, it turns into a ghost island. The bars don't stay open, the stores don't stay open, like all of the shops are closed. So it really does turn into a ghost town. And they do have ghost tours, but we were saying, you know, those ghost tours, but if they go stay in the yellow house up in the hill, the top of the hill, I'm pretty sure they will experience something if they are that interested in the ghost tour. But they do have ghost tours over there. The island turns into a ghost island. Every shop, every bar, every restaurant, they close really early. And, you know, we try to ask the locals and stuff, and nobody wants to say anything. So that's as much as we know about the island. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I did a brief research on the island, and it's, as you said, it has a lot of a war history. And I guess maybe the locals, they don't want to, you know, deter tourists away, so they keep it a secret.
Yeah, you know, it's their home, and they love the island, so they don't want to say anything bad, and they want people to always come back, you know. So, but me personally, I will never go back. I will never go back. Even those hotels are very, very old, and you just know they're old because the paints are just layered after layer, where you no longer can see the little screw on the wall because it's been painted over so many times. So yeah, so me personally, I wouldn't ever go back on that island, even if it's a day trip. The island is very beautiful for like a first timer day trip. All of the buildings are very historical and they are very beautiful. They're like on top of hills, so you know they're laying kind of one on top of another. So it's very beautiful to see. But me personally, I would never go back because my experience at our Airbnb, it is very real, and it is enough for me to stay away from the island.
Okay. Well,
Totally understandable.
we're sorry we
I
made
would
you.
do the same.
We're sorry we made you talk about this. You might have felt very uncomfortable, huh?
No, you know, when I started talking about how 你落中嘅好似個內影脫咗 from behind me. I did have a little bit of goosebumps, but it's been about I want to say about 3 years. So yeah, I'm okay now, but right then and there, because I am a stay-at-home mom now, and so for a good week. Yeah.
I bet I would be too, man. I don't blame you.
Yeah, not at all.
Okay, all right. Well, dang, that was an awesome story. Thank you for
Yeah.
for explaining that.
Yeah,
I guess my last question, is, I couldn't find the original video. So is it still out there? Can you share the link so we can kind of post it on our
Or
podcast?
any other video you guys have, you
Yeah.
could send to us. That'd be great too.
I don't know if my brother still have some videos. I can ask him. As far as it being out there, like floating out there, I don't know. Every now and then I see it surface somewhere, but I don't save it or anything. But if my brother have any video left, I can email it. I mean, send it to you guys through Facebook.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
of like the
Yeah,
orb or yeah, of
anything you
Yeah,
can
that'll
get.
be great.
Yeah, anything
Real,
you can
yeah.
get. Yeah.
yeah, in the kitchen that you in you play peekaboo at the door cause shadow lock like you can see all that. So if my brother still have that, I'll send it to you guys through Facebook. But
Okay,
yeah, like
that'd be great. Yeah.
so much has happened to me because I am a believer. I am a believer because a lot of things happened to me. So when I experienced Nana, I know it is real. It's not my mind playing tricks on me, or as people say, oh, they're probably on something real good. No, it is very real. Yeah.
I agree with you. I never test. I'm not one of those guys that test it to experience it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I leave it be. Like, I don't want to experience it, but I do want other people to experience it so they can tell me.
Yeah. It is very scary.
Yeah.
So you tell me
Yeah.
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 Okay.
All right. Okay.
Um.
Well, thanks again, Petsu. Do you have any more questions?
Oh no, I just want to say thank you so much. It's almost like a privilege for you to tell your story to us, and other people don't get to hear it, although they see the video. So we're very we thank you very much for even considering to come into the show and talk to us. So thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you for
man.
having me. Yeah, thank you for having me. I wish it was I wish my memory was a lot better so I can tell you guys more in detail, but it's been about 3 years, so I'm kind of telling you guys, tonte takasana, but for the most part that's all of the stuff that really did happen to us over there. So yeah, thank
And
you
if-
for having me.
Yeah, and if you have any any relative at that trip with you that want to come to their side of the story too, let them know that we're available. We're willing to hear their side too. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll pass the words to my siblings. A lot of them, they don't have that sixth sense. Yeah, me and Doc. So there's a luchi bỏ hết stuff now, but khai hello lop yellow tuck in chai and what they experience. Yeah, I'll ask the Shima tụi bỏ kia khỏi đúng cái me and Doc we really did see the same thing. Yeah, but I'll talk to the family and see who's willing to come and share their side.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you for that. That was again a great, well told story. Even though you said you kind of forgot some parts, it was really well told. And yeah, it's like about an hour, so we kind of want to cap it at that. You did say you do have the sixth sense. You do have other experiences. Maybe in the future we'll have you hop on again to tell those other stories. But for now, thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. People do ask me to tell, especially during Halloween, but there are certain things that I'd rather not say because and everything, and so I'd rather just leave those alone. But yeah, maybe one day I'll come back and tell other things that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my family, they think I'm a little crazy sometimes, but you know what? It's real. I wouldn't make anything up. It is very real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
believe
thank
that.
you.
I
Thank you
believe
again
that.
for having me.
All right, Patsy, you want to close it out?
Again, for those of you that are watching, thank you for listening to the podcast, and our guest here, Kalina. Thank you for telling your story. Thank you guys for listening to us and listening to her. Most importantly, listening to her story. So, I want to say thank you once again to Kalina for coming to the show, and we really appreciate her. And I know it takes a lot to retell an experience you went through, especially when it's this horrifying. So, thank you, Kalina, for being here, and thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.